Hello and welcome to my Giant Mole Twisted Bow boss guide video, and today I will be demonstrating one of the easiest bosses in old school RuneScape and one that is perfect for the start of any Twisted Bow rebuild. The Giant Mole is a level 230 boss found beneath Falador Park. It has 200 hit points and attacks with melee only, and its main mechanic is that when under 100 hit points it has a 1 in 4 chance of burrowing whenever hit by an attack, and otherwise there's very little to say about this boss. It has a magic level of 200 for some very strange reason, and thus the Twisted Bow works very well here. There are a few recommendations for doing this, and that's having the Falador Hard Achievement Diary complete, which unlocks the Mole Locator and means you won't have any trouble finding the boss during its burrow phase, and if anything I'd actually call this a requirement rather than a recommendation. I wouldn't advise doing this unless you've done that diary, because it also notes the skins and the claws from the boss, and otherwise just a Twisted Bow and any range level will do. Your gear will be the best range setup that you can afford, though the difference between Armadale and Dragonhide is minor. Dragon arrows are preferred, but Amethyst or Rune are fine too if you're an Iron Man looking to save on those Dragon ones. The ring slot is down to your choice, but I like using the Ring of Endurance charged here, as it makes running around much more convenient, as well as recharging your energy faster passively, so you don't have to stamina as often. Otherwise, an Imbued Archer's Ring or a Prayer Ring like the Suffering or Ring the Gods Imbued could be used for that bonus. If you're on task, you can use the Slayer Helm, although I've only had one or two Giant Mole Slayer tasks in my time, so they must be pretty rare. Your inventory will consist of 3 main potions: ranging potions, prayer potions and stamina potions. You can tailor this to exactly how long you are planning to stay for. Bring a little food if you're going to use divine potions, and you don't need to bring a special attack weapon, but you can bring a cannon, and I'll show you why it's very useful here. The safe spot you'll be using isn't affected by the cannon though anyway. The other important things are a light source, so you haven't got the permanent unlock from the Making Friends with My Arm quest. Candor and headgear is good, as it never turns off. Also a spade to reach the lair, the Falador shield for its Mole Locator perk, and Prairie Store if you want to use that as well. An Explorer's Ring can be used for energy restore and alchemy charges for the very few alchemy drops that Mole has. You can also bring some telly to house runes in your pouch or leave it blank, and fill it up with rune drops from Mole. The easiest way to get there is to teleport to Falador and run east to the park. You can also use a Ring of Wealth teleport to Falador Park in your player-owned house, or just bring the ring along with you. Use your spade on one of the molehills to enter the lair, and if you've already built the Eternal Light Source, it will be here and permanent. If not, do the quest Making Friends with My Arm and then build it using the materials. You'll want to make your way to the centre of the mole lair and set up your cannon if you have one on this tile that I show. Ignore the boss for now. For the first kill, just face tank Mole wherever he is, and protect from melee and rigor, and follow him wherever he burrows. Drink a dose of ranging potion and stamina if needed, and make your way to this safe spot. The unique thing about this tile is that Mole will line up so your cannon hits twice on every rotation, and Mole can also not attack you here, so you don't need to use protect from melee at any time. He will spawn in the same place every kill, and yet just hit him once to lure him over. The process is now very simple. Flick rigor on and off to save prayer, and just hit Mole until he reaches 100 HP where he may burrow. When he does, follow him around the lair and utilise the long range of the Twisted Bow. The bow's max hit is 64 with the setup I showed, which is especially useful to how Mole's burrow works. I mean, you can pretty much kill him in 2 hits when he's under 100 HP, and reduce his chance to burrow further and speed up the kills. As soon as he's dead, make your way back to the safe spot and repeat. You'll have some kills where he doesn't burrow at all, and your cannon and bow do so much damage that he just dies in a few hits under 100 HP. It's very satisfying to watch, but on the other hand you will have the odd kill where he seems to burrow at every single opportunity under 100 HP, and the kill ends up taking a bit longer. With the charged Ring of Endurance, each of your stamina doses will last up to 4 minutes, and you'll also get the passive run recharging effect, making it very useful here in my opinion. Divine Potions are nice, but not essential, and if you want to save Prayer Potions, you can telly to POH, restore your prayer, and Ring of Wealth back to Falador Park, though I don't usually do this. A couple of other things: your cannon, if you bring one, will break after about 25 minutes, but only takes 1 click to repair, and he's a very clumsy boy Mole, and he might get stuck at various places around the cave, so you don't always need to pray melee, and you're not going to be DHing him anyway, so even if he does hit you, you shouldn't die. Finally, Mole does seem a very popular boss at the moment, and people might try to crash you here, but it's highly unlikely they'll out DPS a TBOW and the cannon, so you can just ignore them. With the completion of the Falador Hard Diary, Mole will drop noted Mole Claws and noted Mole Skins on every single kill. You guarantee 1 claw and from 1 to 3 skins per kill, and you'll also receive another drop which will usually be pretty mediocre: runes, iron arrows, rune alcohols, although the 100 U-log drops is pretty good. He also does drop some sharks, which might be useful if you tank a few hits by mistake or using divine potions. You can roll the odd rare drop table item like a Dragon Med Helm or a Rune Spear, but there's no uniques to talk about from Mole. Mole also drops elite clue scrolls at a rate of 1 in 500, and of course the prestigious baby mole pet at 1 in 3000, and that is something I'm still hunting. Dare I say, he also drops long and curved bones as well at rates of 1 in 400 and 1 in 5013 respectively. And yes, I've had 2 curved bones in this KC, which is a bit painful. The average kill is worth roughly 24k, and this is very consistent. This is my loot from 1 hour spent doing this method, and I managed to get 80 kills, coming to about 2 mil overall, although you would have to subtract a bit of money for the supplies, and yeah, most of that comes from the skins and claws, which can then be cashed in for bird nests, or you can just sell them straight away on the Grand Exchange. Overall, Mole is extremely good money for how easy it is, and therefore makes a great thing to do if you're starting a Twisted Bow rebuild, since you really don't need very good gear here. I obviously showed a pretty much max gear setup. That doesn't matter too much. I hope you found the video useful, and I wish you good luck on your rebuild. And also, if you're hunting the baby mole pet, wish you luck on that too. It's definitely something I'd like to bag soon. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.